All right, my dear learners, you are welcome to today's lesson. Today, our lesson is going to be sources of energy, but this time around, we are going to look at uh, other sources of energy and then their advantages and disadvantages, and we will see those that have a bad impact or a negative impact on the environment or our surrounding. All right. So as usual, your presenter is Razak. Um, all right. So let's just go straight to our topic. All right. So again, we're looking at sources of energy, and then we're looking at renewable and non-renewable. Yesterday, we looked at some sources of energy, and then we looked at non-renewable and a brief definition of what's renewable. So today we are going to go further and look at other alternative sources, and then we also look at what contributes to the greenhouse effect in the community or in the world at large. So by the end of the lesson, we are going to look at what explain that energy is needed. Okay, just like the various objectives we had yesterday, identify the various types and then identify ways in which different types of energy sources are used, and then to define, okay, renewable and non-renewable as well as we go through. Okay, all right. So you remember this one, we did it in grade. So this is just what we did yesterday. All right, but this is always very important when we are looking for at sources of energy. We need to look at what how important energy is, because without energy, nothing can be done. So all living things need energy to grow. Okay, now we starting from this part again. Yesterday we were just looking at those sources of energy and we were categorizing them. Now we are going into a bit detail, and then we will start from here, which says non-renewable sources. We learned that non-renewable sources are sources of energy that cannot be replaced or replenished. Okay, so the non-renewable energy sources most commonly used in our world today are fossil. Okay, fossil fuels are the non-renewable sources like oil, coal, and natural gas. South Africa uses a variety of different energy sources for generating electricity. So most of the South African power stations are coal-fired powered, meaning without coal, they cannot be powered. We only have one nuclear station at Kobe near Cape Town. All right, the South African government is encouraging the development of what alternative sources, energy sources, but does not currently have any that are connected to the main grid. So what do we mean? What do we mean here? So we say in coal is what non-renewable. So if as we continue using them, a time will come they will be exhausted. They will not be replaced. So that's why the government is looking for what alternative sources. Even though the government is looking for alternatives, but there is no one that is what that has been linked to the ESCOM or the national grid that can also provide what electricity. All right. In fourth term, we will look at how fossil fuels are formed under the section stored solar energy. So this is an introduction to the different sources to link back to later. So now, today, we are going to continue. You see, yesterday somebody was saying is when you burn a wood, you get a coal. Yeah, when you burn a wood, what you get is called a charcoal. But even though they all play the same role, but this coal has got more uses because you can get more than the coal that you get from the wood. Okay, so in South Africa, remember, Sasol uses what? Coal to get what? Petrol. The only technology that is found in South Africa or around the world is in South Africa. The only technology that you can use to get coal, to get petrol from coal is South Africa. You must take note of that. All right, so they are telling you that from coal we can get petrol, and the petrol will what? Will fuel cars. But remember, you can also get petrol from what? Crude oil. Okay, so crude oil is a component, it's a package that you can get so many sources from, like petrol, like diesel, like paraffin, like candle wax, and then what have you. Okay, now, so yesterday we just spoke briefly about fossil fuels. Now let's look at why do you think that fossil fuels are called fossil fuels? Coal, oil, and gas are called fossil fuels because they have been formed from the remains of what? Prehistoric plants and animals over millions of years. So, for example, thousands of 3,000 or billions of years ago, dead plants and animals that were that got laid under, and as a result of energy changes and pressure, these dead plants and animals convert into what? Fossil fuels, in which we are using today now. So they are saying remains of the dead remains of prehistoric plants and animals. So these ones are fossils, okay, over millions of years. Now, petrol and diesel are used mainly as what? Fuel for cars, trucks, and motorbikes. They are produced from what? Crude oil, which is a fuel formed from the remains of what? Dead historic animals. Crude oils contains a lot of energy which can be used, as I said previously. Crude oil is a what? A non-renewable energy source because it takes millions of years to produce crude oil, and so we cannot produce more than when the existing reserves are finished. So yeah, so what it means is that there are some places in those places where they have oil reserves. So they are what? Drills, they are holes. So when you drill and you get to where the oil is, some are very, 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 very large quantities. Others are small. So even with the large quantities, as you continue to utilize them, time will come that their source will be exhausted. So what do? You need to go and check for another oil to drill. Okay, so that's what they are saying. Crude oil is a non-renewable source because it takes millions of years to produce. So when it's done, before you will get it, it's going to be another years, millions of years. Coal is most commonly used as a source of energy by power stations to generate electricity, as we have in South Africa here. We will learn more about this later. Coal can also be burned in fires to keep warm or in coal stoves to cook our food. So these are just the uses of coal, besides the fact that it helps to generate electricity. All right. Now, let's look at further. Next, fossil fuels, such as what? Oil and coal. The biggest part of the gas mixture is what? A gas called methane. Methane 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 um, Methane is a gas which burns easily and releases a lot of energy when it burns. So if you have not uh, uh, seen this methane, or you can picture it, um, some of the gases that we have in our gas stoves, then we have got different varieties of gases there. So methane can be one. We also have butane. We also have what? Propane. Okay, natural gas is used for what? Cooking, heating, and producing what? Electricity. So the picture we have there is a natural gas that is rich in underground reserves by drilling down wells such as these ones. Okay, so in the well, Russia is one of the countries with large reserves of gases. So what they have done is that currently they have connected from Russia to Europe to China to other parts of the world so that they can sell to them. So if your country is rich in natural gas resource, then you are
Excuse
also
me,
hello.
excuse me, sir. May you please
Yeah.
talk loud? We can't hear you.
Oh, maybe it's is it better?
Yes,
Okay. All
thank
right.
you.
Okay. Thank you. So as I was saying, natural gas is used for cooking, heating, and producing electricity. And the picture you have there is how it's a well that is rich in natural gas, and then it can be mined or drilled and sell to other people. Okay. Yeah, so let's continue. When talking about the methane component of a natural gas, we are talking about what? Non-renewable resources. Gas formed over thousands of years as organic matter decay, and the gas became trapped in wells which we now mine, as we have seen in the what previous slide. However, as we see later, methane can also be considered a what? A renewable resource. This is when methane is produced from what? Degrading organic matter such as what? Animal waste with the help of what? Microorganisms. So now you can get this fact. Methane can be classified as what? Renewable and non-renewable. Okay, so just as we have the well there, if the well is exhausted, then your gas is finished, then it means it cannot be replaced. But when we get methane from other organic matter, like animal waste, and with the help of other microorganisms, it means we can use those ones to produce methane gas, and hence we can equally call it what? Renewable gas or renewable source of energy too. So non-renewable energy sources play a huge role in our lives and the way our world works today. However, there are some major concerns about our reliance on what? Non-renewable energy sources. Okay, let's go on. Firstly, there is only a limited supply. So these energy sources will run out one day. We will need to what? Find alternative sources of energy. Now, the bottom line is that when the energy, whether non-renewable or renewable, if it is renewable, that's better. It means we still have a future. But if it is non-renewable, what are we going to do now? It means we, the present generation, will exhaust those non-renewable sources, and our children and those yet unborn will not get anything. So it means we have to also research into what alternative sources of energy. So currently, alternative energy sources are being explored and used in what? In a small scale in some places and what? Other countries. All right. Now, so we have seen the bottom line as to how methane, fossil fuels are formed and how they can be classified as what? Renewable and non-renewable. Now, what happens is that as we are using those renewable or non-renewable, we creating one, we use them to our advantage, but at the in the other way around, we are also creating a disadvantage. Now we are going to look at what is called greenhouse gases. Now, one disadvantage of what? Using energy sources is that they pollute the environment. That is one. Another source is that they release what? Greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. And greenhouse gases are present in our atmosphere and help to control what? The Earth's temperature. The sun's radiation enters the Earth's surface. Okay, some of the radiation is reflected by the atmosphere and the Earth's surface. Most of the solar radiation is absorbed by the Earth's surface and converted to heat to warm what? The Earth. The Earth's surface emits heat, so some heat escapes into space, but most is absorbed and re-emitted by the what? Greenhouses to further warm the atmosphere. So you see that. So the more these gases are produced, the more they absorb certain substances, and they what re-emit them or bring them back to the atmosphere, which in one way or the other is what warming up the surface of the earth. So this natural process is called what the greenhouse effect. All right, now let's go on. So this is what we are just talking about. So here, don't get confused. We're talking about using energy sources, but when we are using energy sources, they produce certain gases, and these certain gases will, will do what? Will absorb the heat that is being released from the earth into the atmosphere. Now, what is happening is that these greenhouse gases will also absorb some of the gases and re-emit them. And when they re-emit them, then the temperature increases on the earth. All right. So as you can see, we have got something there, incoming solar radiation. Okay. Now let's go on. But our use of fossil fuels has released even more greenhouses, such as carbon dioxide. There is now an excess greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This reduces the amount of heat which escapes into space and traps more heat within the Earth's atmosphere than before. This is coming, this is causing the temperature of the atmosphere to rise, known as what? Warming. So as you can see, a greenhouse traps the sun's energy and provides a warm environment for the plant, just as the greenhouse gases in our what, atmosphere. So you see this picture. So the plants are supposed to be warmed in somehow, but you see they create a house so that in it the ambient temperature that is conducive for the plants can be given by the what, the greenhouse. Okay, now let's look to other sources contributing to greenhouse gases. Other sources that contribute to an increase in greenhouse gases are deforestation. Now, deforestation, which is the clearing of large areas of natural forests such as in the Amazon, the Central Africa, and Southeast Asia. These forests are cut down to provide farmland, and the large trees which have been taken hundreds of years to grow are used for what? Wood product. Fortunately, forests usually act as a sink. Now, why is it that cutting down trees is having an impact? Now, this is the explanation. Now, forests act as a sink or absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Therefore, deforestation contributes to an increase in the greenhouse. Now, so what happens is that one of the greenhouse gases is carbon dioxide. Now, the forest uses the carbon dioxide in the process what? In the process of making food, which is called what? Photosynthesis. So when most of the trees are cut, then they decrease in number. So the rate at which the carbon dioxide is absorbed for photosynthesis is also affected. Okay, agriculture as greenhouse gases are given off from livestock such as cows, the soil, and the what? The rice production. Certain products are also what? Greenhouse gases. Okay, let's move further. Now let's look at nuclear fuels. So nuclear fuels are simple fuels that we get from a nuclear plant. Okay, energy can be produced by what? Nuclear reaction. Within the atom, the nucleus is held together by what? Very strong forces. You remember we did this in the previous terms about the structure of the atom. When the nucleus is broken apart, a huge amount of energy is released. This energy can be used in nuclear power plants to generate what? Electricity. Two different nuclei can also collide at very high speeds to form a what? A new atomic molecules. The energy release The energy release is also used in what? Nuclear power plants. However, on a smaller scale than when nuclei are broken apart. Some materials are better to use than others as nuclear fuels. One such substance is what? Uranium. And uranium is what? Is an element. So if you check from the periodic table, you can see it. Now let's look at some of the advantages that we acquire or we're supposed to get when we're using what alternative sources of energy like nuclear. One, there are almost no greenhouse gas emissions. Into brackets, no carbon dioxide, no gas given off. And because there is no gases given off, there is no smoke. Okay, a very small amount of radioactive material can be used and integrate and to generate. I mean, a very small amount of radioactive materials can be used to generate a very large amount of energy as it is what? An efficient fuel. Nuclear power plants require less space than, for example, a wind farm or a coal situation. It produces what small amounts of waste, although it is radioactive, which is a disadvantage. See below. The price of uranium does not fluctuate, go up and down as much as gold and coal and what? Oil does. So it is more reliable. All right. Let's look at some of the disadvantages. The nuclear waste produced is dangerous as it is radioactive and needs to be stored for a long period of time as the use for fuel remains constant in the world of South Africa. Okay, so I repeat that I said the nuclear waste produced is dangerous as it is radioactive because some radioactive materials have got a very large or big uh, decaying lifespan. Some can some can take minutes, some can take 2 days, some can take 2 days, 3 days to decay. So when it decays, it means it will go break down into other substances that will be what that is if the impact will decrease. But there are some that takes millions of years to what duplicate. Okay. So in the process, they can release some substances into the atmosphere or environment, and one can be what affected if you absorb it. Okay. There are environmental factors about what it is. There are environmental concerns about what it is done with the radioactive waste as it damages plant and animal life. Now, what it happens is that there are some plants that can absorb this radioactive waste and then the plant can die. Or even if the plant doesn't die, it can be affected in terms of what production because it's no more longer normal. So you can imagine that there is what a plant absorbs a certain X-ray, and then or rays, a certain rays from the radiation. And when that happens, it means the plant is going to be affected. It's just like in Japan when American dropped the atomic bomb. Till today, there are some people in Japan that are still having the effect of this. Okay. The nuclear power plants are expensive to build. So one, they release radioactive waves that takes a very long time to decay. They are very expensive to construct, and as such, it's very expensive. All right. Now we are going to look at assessment, and then we have got some. The questions are on the board on your screen. So what we are going to do is that you just give me your answers, and then we will do the correction as well as usual. So we have got about 10 questions. So we have got what five questions. So let's keep working. Otherwise, if you have a question, just drop me a message. And once again, you are all welcome. Junior, you are welcome. Man, you are welcome. Molay, you are welcome. Okay, let's keep pushing. Okay, are you guys there? Keep your answers coming. Yes, so number one is saying, what do we need to make things move? What does it mean when we say something is a source of energy? Which of the following are sources of energy? What does it mean in something is a non-renewable source of energy? Which of these are renewable energy sources? Which of these are renewable energy sources? So you can check to give your answers. All right, I hope you're getting your answers now. All right. Junior, check your answer again. Junior, I can't see your number one. Junior, question 3 is saying, which of the following are sources of what energy? So check your answer well. Okay, guys, let's be fast and then we move to the next. So number one, it says, what do we need to take to make things move? Okay, which of the following are substances of energy? What does it mean if something is non-renewable? Okay, yeah, keep them posted. Okay, so let's go to the next. All right, let's go to the next slide. We are on assessment, Junior. We are on assessment. We are on assessment number 5. But if you are done, I can go to the, okay? All right. So if you are done with this one, okay, let me go to the next question. Okay, I understand. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go to number 6. Number 6. Number 6 is saying, which of the renewable energy uses the movement of air to generate electricity? So it's just 1 mark, meaning it's just a very what? Short answer. Okay, and number 7 is saying complete the following sentences. Write them out in full on the lines provided on and underline. Okay, consider the following. Complete the following sentences rather. Write them out in full on the sizes and provide and underline your answers. Okay. So that is how it goes. Coal, natural gas, and oil are all examples of what? Yeah, you have got your answers here. You just pick from them and fill. When they are burned, they release what? You have it, you write. Coal, natural gas, and oil are also known as what? Okay. Coal, natural gas, and oil are also known as, you have them. You have two possible answers alternative that you can take. Wind and solar energy are uh, examples of what? Yeah, so you just take energies because they are, yes, then you fill it up. So fortunately, I've given you the options for you to pick up to answer your question. So let's be fast. Okay, yes, Junior, I can see that your answer is okay. 7A. Okay, yeah, continue. Yes. Yeah, keep your answers coming. Yeah, some of you, you are here. Lunga, what is wrong? I can't see your answers. Mien, I can see you. Angelina, I can see you. Jube, I can see you. Okay, keep the answers coming. All right, let me see. All right, keep your answers coming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Should we check our corrections to see whether we are on the right path? Guys, able. Uh, should I share my answers with you guys so that you can see if you are done? Okay, but are you sure you have worked through all the answers? All right. Okay. So let's see. What do we need to make things move? Yeah, that's energy. So if your answer is energy, you are correct. Yeah. What does it mean when we say something is a source of energy? Okay. It is something which has energy stored in it, which can be what? Used. All right. Now, which of the following are sources of energy? Your answer is E because all of them are sources of energy. All right. So next, if you didn't get it right, next time check. What does it mean if something is non-renewable source of energy? Non-renewable energy sources cannot be what? Used or replenished. There is a limited supply. Okay. And now let's go on. So for 2 months there, question 5, which of these are renewable energy sources? Which of these? So we have a C and then a D. Yes, there will always be sun and there will always be wind. Okay, so they will always be there. So they are known as what? Renewable. Okay, let's go continue. Question 6. Which of the renewable energy uses the movement of air to generate electricity? Straight away, that's what? Wind. We got it right? Okay, before I complete question 7, how many of you got, tell me the first number 1 to number 6, who got total there? Junior, what are you saying? Which waves? What waves are you talking of? Okay. All right. Let's continue. So the last, if you should complete the missing words, then our paragraph should read like this. Coal, natural gas, and oil are all examples of what? Renewable energy what? Resources. When they are burnt, they release energy. Coal, natural gas, and oil are known as fossil fuels. Wind and solar energy are examples of renewable energy sources because they can be replaced. Okay, now is there any question that we have to grapple with? I can see some of you posting there. Uh, you have got full marks. Very good. Mulei, what's your problem? Yeah, well done. Those of you who got everything from number 1 to number 6, that's very good. Keep it up. I'm impressed. And those of us who didn't get it all, yeah, you can do better next time. Okay. What about question 7? Question 7. Who got everything right? Did somebody get question? Okay, Wendy. Uh, Angelina, I didn't see your answers. Post them again. I didn't. Angelina, Wendy, I didn't see your answers. You remember I said you are welcome, but I didn't see your answers. But I hope you got them right. Okay. So, um, our time is almost that. Okay. It was nice having you around. Okay, so we have got the various sources of energy here. All right. So I'm going to leave you with this quotation from Maria Carey. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. So now is your time. You study, you be discipline, and then you can fear no more. But here there is corona. So try to practice safe distancing, sanitizing, and wearing a what? A face mask. The virus is real. Okay, let's prevent ourselves and protect ourselves. All right. Oh, typing. Okay, Wendy. All right, I understand. All right, guys. See you. We have come to the end of the class. Catch you later tomorrow. Bye.